Sorry about that.
No problem, John, that's fine. Again, Steve Kill, 14400 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake. Again, pretty much consistent with what was said the last time.
Can I stop you right quick, and this is my fault. Did we ask for about the attorney legal reviews? I didn't hear it.
What?
Legal reviews or?
I don't, yeah, he did.
Okay.
And to be verified, Greg.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, pretty similar to the last one, we did receive a series of comments from the staff and from Joe, and we endeavored to answer all those, and that was in front of you, obviously now in a red line version, so you can see what the changes are. The project itself, just so everybody is kind of familiar, is basically just across the street from Town Hall here to the north and to the east. Again, similar to Bay Bridge, there is an existing PUD on this property, existing zoning. So we try to come up with a design that we feel is a lot better than obviously any previous zoning that is on the property. And I shouldn't say zoning, but, you know, what the previous land plan might have been.
Steve, I've seen the previous land plan, and it's way better than this, even from 2008. This is not, I don't see how you can even say that, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, the previous land plan and the zoning that's on it allows for a lot more allows for density, apartment buildings, if you will.
There was never any apartment buildings approved for that development, Steve.
I guess we're all saying
there were some condominiums on that development when it was approved.
Okay,
And
so,
you're not gonna have condominiums, and I know that.
well, Greg, honestly, I'm just here to tell you exactly what is possible, what was approved previously, so...
Steve, you and Mr. Lotton and Mr. Oaks have an opportunity to partner with this community and make a good development over there. You have the opportunity. But this isn't it.
Thank you. So I guess I would ask a question then at this point. What exactly do you want to see over here? You can have businesses like, I know no townhouses, but if you don't want townhouses, then what is it? I've not heard any input, though.
I made a statement at the last work session. What I'd like to see there, you weren't budgeting, I'm not budgeting either. There's 5 other commissioners as of tonight, but I'm not budgeting on that.
You're not what?
I said R1 PUD. You guys aren't budgeting, I'm not gonna budget.
Oh, no, I did, and I actually did try to call you to tell you that I did run that by, just as I told you I would.
Well, and I know you called me, Steve, and I mean no disrespect. I've known you for years, and I like you. I don't like this, but, I'm not in the habit of talking to any developer representatives outside of a work session or a public meeting.
I was just gonna tell you that the R1 PUD, he's not agreeable to it. That's all I was gonna say.
Well,
Not getting into this, outside of this forum.
And you don't have the capability of changing any of this because he's directed you what to do, and you gotta do what he tells you because he's your boss.
Like I said, I do know what the wishes are, so that's why I'm here presenting this plan to you, and I guess it's not gonna do much good to repeat everything. If you all have any questions, that's fine.
Well, again, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just state that, in the future, we want to widen Morse. We have an opportunity to widen Morse. They are sitting on some commercial lots that, at one of our plan commission meetings, it was discussed that that could be given, the 2.5 acres on the south could be given to the town so we could have overflow parking.
That is correct.
increase our abilities for events here at the town. I made my statement of it'd be great to make this whole area down here more of a downtown. Don't need to go there. Acquiring additional land along Morse to be able to widen it as a part of negotiations on this, I think would also be beneficial to our community. I also think that the fact that these preserved woodland oak trees and the old slow growths are there now where they weren't earlier is a plus, and so on and so forth. So I think there's some positives to take away here. Society is changing. People don't necessarily want to go mow their yard. They don't want to, plant gardens and work outdoors. And a lot of people like this type of unit housing and
Mr. President?
so on and so forth. So that's my 2 cents on some of that sort of thing.
So I don't get confused.
All right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to follow up with Don. Do you have any comments?
Yes, just a point of clarification. Actually, this is not currently zoned as PUD, correct? It's multi-zoned, as noted on that agenda, correct?
It is multi-zoned as B2, R1, RT, and RM. I would have to verify with the current existing ordinances in my files in my office of what happened back in 2008.
I just wanted to clarify because the agenda said that and Mr. Kill said it was an existing PUD.
I will double check my existing files and let the planning commission know.
Okay, going back to our letter from dated 9/15, since the PUD guidelines and development agreement were exceedingly similar to the prior petition, a lot of the comments that I noted for the prior petition apply for this. No traffic circulation information to make an informed decision, no preliminary engineering or utility infrastructure items that were provided to make that decision, and then phasing and sequencing of the development, all are findings of fact in Section D. And then, like I said, minus some uniqueness stuff to this slide and some comments related to the development plan itself, the majority of the comments are very similar.
Okay. I'm going to ask you gentlemen, we'll step aside again, take the administrators. Here again, I'm going to take the administrators for Founder's Creek. I'm going to hold it to no more than 30 minutes. If you wanted to speak, come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
I know it's Cedar, 136, Morse Street, and that property is lined in 1,500 lineal feet of my property there. I've never seen a plan like this before. I didn't know the green was coming out this way. Here I see it in my backyard. I don't understand where this guy's coming off putting this stuff in our community. I just don't know what to say about it. I just hope you guys will pass this through, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Fox, 7015 West 135th Avenue. What's there to be said that hasn't been said already, but I would like to go ahead and refer back to that Section D regarding, the town ordinance, regarding the requirements for zoning as PUD, because I believe he is correct. This is not currently zoned as PUD, so these requirements would need to be met in order to change that zoning. I'd specifically like to focus on point number 5. Existing and proposed streets are suitable and adequate to carry anticipated traffic within the proposed zoning district and within the vicinity of the proposed zoning district. My family moved here in 2017. Rush hour traffic, that's not even a thing that existed when we moved here. It's 2023 now, a short 6 years later, and now there's something called rush hour traffic here on this side of the lake. When you on any given Saturday in the summertime, or any given rush hour coming home, 5 o'clock, the northbound Morse intersection with 133rd is a nightmare. The cars back up all the way to the AMVET and then some. And we're going to say that this is going to come right out onto that same road. We have 384 units, all townhouses. There's not a single townhouse on this side of the lake as far as I know. This is a complete smack in the face of the character of our neighborhood. If you're going to develop this land, fine. Develop it as it's zoned currently and put single-family houses on it.
Justin Bush, 6913 West 135th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. So this is the second plan I've seen now that has all these townhomes in it and zoning in very small areas. But my concern is, if these aren't going to be single-family homes, where are all these kids going to go to school? How are they going to fix all the kids going to school for that? Because seeing all these people coming in, it's not just the flow of traffic or the people in the area. They're guaranteed to have kids in those homes. And these schools are actually overrun as it is now. They're having problems trying to expand them and build onto them and do all that right now. And that just proves it from the other side of Cedar Lake, where they did all the townhomes over there, and they did all those condos over there. They had to rebuild Hanover, they had to expand Hanover to middle school. It's just absurd. I'm worried about the kids and education. Thank you.
Pamela Davenport, 13035 Schubert Street. My concern is, I'm okay with bringing construction in. If you look down Parish going towards Lowell, and those subdivisions there on Parish, those homes have acreage. They're not stacked one on top of the other. Why can't our developers do the same thing? Nice single homes with green. Oh, yeah.
Chuck Becker, 6100 West 136th Place. Again, we are in a public meeting. We don't have all the information. Building doesn't have all the information about all the zones yet. Here we are. How did this happen? Also, about the TIF.
Got approved years ago, and then no one built it. There was no expiration clause on it, and
That's why everything needs to start having twilight clause in there. Someone explain to me about the TIF, what's going on. Someone knows that they're saying, what about the TIF? Explain that. Because, after 20 years, if the property, or 25 years, the property improves the value, then the town gets a portion of it, but don't hit the builder, or it goes towards infrastructure, I don't know.
You want to explain that, Chris?
I will refer to the ChooseCarmelIN.com website that has videos, but the way that TIF works is that the tax is collected, and this will be residential, over 20 years can be captured by the TIF district to pay for infrastructure, and then after the 20 years span of time, it dissolves, and that taxing revenue goes to all of the government entities that normally receive the property taxes.
Because what happened about the schools? Because right now, if the schools aren't going to get this money, or a lot of the money, it's still going to cost the taxpayers, because guess what, they're going to have another referendum. And everyone else's taxes are going to go up, and it's going to impact everybody. That's all.
Tom Frick, 8008 West 146th Avenue, Cedar Lake. Excuse me. Where are the parks?
Yeah, thank you.
What about parks? There's no parks. Where are the kids supposed to go? John had mentioned about increasing the roads. I work for utility. I've been working in Lake County, from the lake all the way down. All they've done is repave. You ever seen Route 30 and 41 during the day without rush hour? It is a zoo because of traffic. The traffic is so bad in this county now. It's crazy. And now, when you're coming southbound on 41 to 133rd, you might take 3 or 4 times to get through that light.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people, they're still going. They're going south. They're passing Cedar Lake because they got to come through here because there's no alternate way to get south. For people that say, screw this, we're going south, get away from this, what's going on here. and they gotta deal with the traffic to get there. And I don't know, I like the idea of single-family homes. I think most of us in this room feel that way too. Because you're packing them in. This ain't no, what's the term? 3-minute city? What the, you know? We already outgrown Strax. They can't even keep up with us. Schools, my daughter was in a trailer because we've already outgrown a brand-new school. So, I don't know. We gotta slow down because you're talking about infrastructure and we're the ones that are already here. We're the ones that are going to be suffering until everything gets straightened out. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you.
Donna Corey, 14605 Bryan Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana, Center Township. I just have one question for you. Morse Avenue. So, I love to walk. I can't walk right now because of my foot, but I love to walk. Where's the sidewalk? You said that we are budgeted to increase the size of Morse. Is there plans for sidewalks? Because I would walk to the town grounds from where I live. I love Progress. I think Cedar Lake's a wonderful place for Progress, but we just need single homes. Again, I'm following with everybody that's in this room, single homes. And Mr. Kill, I don't know you, I met you a couple of times on the lake. However, the arrogance of not even explaining these things to the people that they required shillings, or the other developers to require to get taxed for the development. It's just, are you just assuming this is going to happen? Because every single person in this room thinks it's assumed it's done. Rumors, 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 rumors. I've heard rumors for the last 6 months, and so far, 5 out of 6 rumors are true. So the 6th rumor, I hope, is not true.
Presently, we have a $3.5 million grant to bring sidewalks from around to the town grounds from the north. And the widening of Morris would, of course, then enable additional land to be able to put sidewalks and complete our dream of having the ability to jog around the entire lake, et cetera. But it takes money to do anything, so it's a catch-22. There's no question, folks.
Tom Flam, 14505 Morse Street. I got the certified letter in the mail, but you'll have to excuse my legalese. I dropped out of law school the day I was born. I'm not sure what development this refers to, but you said something about Morse Street widening, and what are the plans for that? Is that something that is in the works?
It'll be part of a residential TIF, if we're able to move forward with it. So no, it is the goal of the town council to pursue that, to widen that road. It absolutely needs to be a 3-lane road at least, at the very least.
So a turn lane.
It needs to be absolutely have a turn lane.
All right, thanks.
And I'll let you know one other thing. I serve on the Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Board as a representative for Cedar Lake. And they were supposed to have a turn lane on 41. The state was going to do that. They planned to have it done in 2022, but they have 160 parcels that they've got to acquire. And now their projected time frame is 2025 to get us the turn lane from 231, and they're going to try and take it to 135th, past 133rd.
Thanks.
Mr. Kernigan?
Yes.
I did receive a call from INDOT because I did inquire about that. Their projected start time is July 2025 at this point in time.
So an actual date?
They did not give me a date, they gave me a month and the year,
Okay.
July 2025.
Well, 2025 is what they told me.
Hi, I'm Tom Woods, 12334 Kennedy Street, Cedar Lake. This whole scenario reminds me of an old Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. We got the developer, John Lotton, Mr. Potter. These guys here, I never met you, you look like great guys, you especially, I love to go out and have a drink with you, you probably have a hell of a time, I'm sure. Don't take this the wrong way, but between the two of you, you guys remind me of George Bailey, right? You're working for Mr. Potter, and he says, go dangle that golden carrot in front of everybody. Just because there's a carrot out there, everyone, commissioners, does not mean we have to take a bite of that carrot. This is the first meeting I've ever been to, and this is a crap show. I cannot believe the stuff I am seeing tonight. It just blows me away. What I'm getting out of this, and from emails and Facebook posts and what people say and what I've seen tonight is the icing on the cake. Mr. Lotton is turning Cedar Lake into Pottersville. Right? Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Cheryl Parker, 7227 West 136th Avenue. I have a question. Mr. Kill refers to when the traffic study expense and, what was the other one that we were, engineering, that Mr. Lotton doesn't care to pay for that. But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that part of the developer's expenses to put the project together and look at those and present those for approval? Am I wrong?
No, we will end up doing engineering, it's just difficult to start that and expend, like I said, $500,000, $750,000 or more, then bring a whole project to the community, then everybody looks at me and says, no, go back and redo it.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
There is a point in the development process where you have to do full-blown engineering, you're absolutely correct, yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. Gates of St. John, you made reference to that. Did you do any traffic studies for Gates of St. John? Did you do engineering studies for Gates of St. John? Or did St. John, the town, just say, oh, go ahead and build?
At the time of primary plat, yes.
You did do studies? Okay, so we would expect that you would do that for any of these projects too?
There's no objection at the time of primary plat, absolutely. There's no question about it. We routinely do those.
Yeah, okay.
Eric Hines, I live at 7513 West 136th Avenue. We just recently bought our house, and noticing since I've been coming to these things, like going over all these plans and everything, what is this going to do to the wells and the well water? Are the wells going to dry up? Like, is something going to have to be done about that? Like, will we put in water towers? Are we going to have to pay for that? Are there any plans or any studies done on that?
I read a report before I started at the beginning of the meeting. I read a report telling you what the usage was and gallons and that, but the town is always looking for new water sources. And a lot of the time, they'll have the developer put a well in or find a well on their property. This project here, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but aren't you guys putting a well in or locating one? So, yeah, it's water.
We've already identified a well site and have dug a test well. It looks like it's going to be one of the most productive wells in town has right now.
And the quality of it is okay?
When you do a production well for a town, it's not, you can't just do it like your residential well. Your residential well is very shallow, it doesn't go down to the bedrock. When you're doing production wells for a town, you're going down 400 to 600 feet into the bedrock, and you're looking for the fractures that supply the water down there. So the water table you're going after and the aquifers are a lot deeper. And I've dug 8 of these already. And when you do if you see a well outside your house, it's about this big, right? You got a really small well, you got a small pump down there. The ones the town drills are like this. So you case all the way down where normal well would be, the casing goes down. And then the pump goes all the way down in the bedrock. So it's a lot different when you're actually looking at a production well rather than just a residential well. So these would be, what we try to identify for the town, we try to identify production zones. Because, you know, if you have to get somewhere at least 500 gallons a minute out of the well, because there's a huge expense to it. So, you know, it's very difficult in Cedar Lake here to find those bedrock wells. And there are hire geologists, they do fracture trace analysis of the earth. There's science as to where you drill these. And so there is one on this site, yes.
And the other site?
We've done 5, 4 of them had to be tapped, only 1 panned out so far.
Okay, so is that gonna...
But the town does this too. So we kind of work in coordination with the town.
So with all these plans going forward, like even like down the road, like years down the road, is it gonna have any effect on well water?
On the, you mean the...
On the, like, the water level?
So, again, like I said, you all are, everybody here is basically on a shallow well. I don't know, somewhere 80 to 120 foot. We're almost 600 foot in the ground, so just totally different. We're not...
So it's gonna have no effect on it?
It should have no effect on the residential well. I mean, every residential well, I grew up on well septic. I mean, we've been here since '74, so believe me, I've been in this town my whole life. I graduated from Hanover, that's why we know everybody. We're here. So,
all right, that makes me think of a question with what you brought up there. My well is 320 feet deep. Will any of these wells affect mine?
Well, it will be about twice as deep as yours, Bob. I don't know where actually, Bob, I didn't, I mean, you probably have one of the few that are that deep, actually. They're typically not that deep for residential, well, not close. So you probably are, you're the exception, you're not the rule, obviously.
And the problem was, MacArthur drilled an 8-inch well, and it had mud coming out through my 200 rock well. And then, so the Sheehy cats come out and drill another one, and they thought they'd get water at 200 feet, and they had to go 320 feet, and it cost me a couple of $1,000 more.
There's actually a state statute that applies here, where if you have it's called a significant water withdrawal source, where if a significant water withdrawal source causes somebody's well to run dry, you alert DNR. I encourage you to do that. If it ever happens to you, they'll come out and immediately investigate. They can declare a groundwater emergency, and they can require the significant groundwater withdrawal source to arrange immediately to get potable water to the homes that are affected and fix the problem, either by drilling the well deeper or hooking them up to a city water supply. It's just the law. It's just telling you what it is.
But to get back to any of the experience I've had with this, right at 231, between Parish and Klein, there are 2 giant production wells, both capable of 2,000 gallons a minute. That's each 4 million gallons a day.
How many people?
Well, those are just 2 production wells out of 8 for the town of St. John. So, but those are 2 really large wells. So, to answer your question, give you an example, we hit them on at one time. The water operator really wanted to see what the system could do. Well, some of the farmers reported some problems. So what we did, and they have a little bit deeper wells, so the town at that point paid the well company to go out and lower some wells. Just to make sure that, to go to Tim's point, we knew what it was. So, you know, hey, you can't run from it, just correct the problem. And we paid to lower wells, and everybody was good. So, I mean, but again, you're talking, these guys they're pretty big water users, farmers obviously, a lot more than a home. So that would explain kind of why they were affected, and no home was, you know, but most of the people there are on just town water anyway. So that's one example of where, and it was corrected, it was identified. So, but in Cedar Lake, I mean, we're not blind to the fact that there's a lot of utility infrastructure that has to be done. We know that Morse Street wants to get widened. I used to ride my bike around it, I know. We had to dodge cars all the time, I get it. We understand all that. There's no question. I mean, especially me, who's been here my whole life. We know that there's a lot of utilities that need help. No question about it. So these projects are designed to generate age-restricted TIF. these two projects, we would, I guess, propose a different type of residential TIF, where the town could capture the money that could be used it's a lot looser, let me just say, than perhaps an age-restricted TIF, where, in that, this can be used for some public safety operating expenses and things of that nature. So there's two, and it's where the town captures all the tax money. It wouldn't go to the county. So if a town, let's say a house pays $3,000 a year, okay? The town will collect about $500 of that, round number. If you TIF it, the town will get all $3,000. And then the schools don't rely that much on tax money anymore. They rely more on a per head student. They rely mostly on that now. But again, before you do any of this, you have the FA run the numbers, so you know what's going on.
Sir, when it comes to the schools, just to give you an example of just Hanover, the state now pays book fees, but they only give $151 per kid. It doesn't cover the books. The school has to still take money, $400,000 plus, out of their operations fund to pay the balance. That's just book fees. Yes, we do depend on taxpayers' money to run our schools. We don't get that kind of funds from the state.
Again, primarily.
Tracy, can you please state your name and number, name and address?
Tracy Haskell, 13436 Osborne Street.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, my name is Jennifer Prunski. I live at 14617 Blaine Street in the South Shore Development. And quite honestly, this is a waste of our time. I feel like this is a lot of old boys network, a lot of we'll see, you know this. I mean, where are the facts? And honestly, we're looking at proposals that don't even meet just the simple stuff, asking for the 8-foot variances. And why are we wasting our time until all of the information is done, the feasibility studies, the infrastructure? I just don't understand. I mean, we all work today. We're all here. We're passionate about this. We're not going to let this go through. These are educated individuals. I mean, I have lived here since 1969. And what I see now is, you know, trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. We're just asking for the facts. That's it. Single-family homes. That's it. It's simple. Do the work.
You'll be the last remonstrator.
Ryan Brown, 14701 Warm Street. So this is another development that's just jamming townhouses and condos into our community. Again, this is Sauk Village 2.0. I know TIF is just the greatest thing in the world because it's going to pay for everything, but it doesn't help us now, and it's going to harm the community. Every single time we have these meetings, more and more people are going to show up. And we need to start having them in a place that doesn't hold 160 people. Because 400 people have shown up to the last 2 meetings that we've had outside of here. So, again, they're not doing anything to budge. On our side, we want single-family homes, obviously. We don't want these big, giant swaths of people. We don't want slums in 20 years. And the HOAs go away. And Sauk Village is gone. And now that community is destroyed. We don't want that here.
Public comment on the Founder's Creek. Come back up there, Steve and Mr. Oaks.
That well on South Shore Golf Course at the creek, how deep is that?
Honestly, I don't know about that one. We didn't.
Back in the day, they had to shut it off. There was the people in South Shore subdivision were losing water when they ran water into the lake.
That well is not
Pumping 1 million gallons a day into the lake.
Yeah.
We never considered that one.
But it did drain the water from South Shore subdivision.
Yeah, that well's just there.
Typically an irrigation system for a golf course.
You can't use it
It's
anyway.
shallow. And what's going on is really the source of recharge for the aquifers for the deep aquifers where you get into the bedrock, the municipal water supplies, it's recharged differently than typically the water source where people's wells are plugged into. And when you do the analysis, and that's geologists that do this for a living, they take that into consideration, and the town municipalities, the utility companies take that all into consideration.
Okay, moving on here, building department.
Similar comments as to the last one. We got resubmittal with some changes last Friday. I have not had a chance to connect with the legal for this project to go over those changes. So I need to connect with Joe.
Hey, commissioners.
Again, you know, like I reiterated earlier, Mr. Chairman, I think there's positives, there's pros and cons, as vetted through the remonstrators, and, you know, I think that us being able to negotiate and try to get some of this, if not maybe all the land, and try to have the ability to use it to rebuild and fix the east side of Cedar Lake to make it proper would be good. Because Ashley just got some things and looking through Don's letter for this, I'd like to make a motion to defer it to the next month's meeting, if you're okay with that, Mr. Kill, or think you would be able to incorporate some of the changes we've talked about?
Yeah, John, that's the pleasure of the board. I mean, I'm not here trying to force anything down anybody's throat, so I mean, that's the pleasure of the board.
So it'd be at a work session.
That motion's a little premature, so we have to get on a commissioner's discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but that's what I brought up.
Usually the planning commission president solicits for it.
Yeah, but you did a motion, the first one, on the very first item before anyone else said anything, so it's same difference.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any more comments? No, sir. All right, if not, then a motion is in order.
Okay, so yeah, that makes a motion to defer back to a work session so we can get the whole group readdressed, refocused, and figuring out, it's catty-corner from our town, it's already zoned something from years ago, let's really look at what that is, the R1, the R2, as well as the B1, as well as the, I think some...
RT and RM, yeah.
And RM theoretically could be apartments, there's no question. We understand that, and so we need to collectively, at a work session, try to come up with something that might just benefit, and it's a cool piece of property off to the east where it goes down by the Founder's Creek. There's going to be a walking path to connect the town grounds to Lemon Lake. It would be a kind of like the other one overlooking Lake Dale. There would be some cool views, that would be some cool views, but I think we have some things that we need to discuss still at a work session.
Mr. President?
Yes, that's one motion.
We had 2 work sessions on this already, and we didn't do any negotiating. We didn't have, I mean, all we had was what, we got a presentation that everybody's unwilling to bend on. Why would we have another work session about that after this public hearing?
It may be, Greg.
It's my thought.
What do we have? We got a motion on the floor. But make a comment on that motion is, that between now and the work session, if this motion passes, the developer should have a better idea of what, he should have a better idea right now of what we want. And he should be working on coming up with something that would maybe make us a little more palatable to us and to the residents of the town. And at the same time, in that couple of week time period here, we should be thinking about how we can make this project a little better for everybody involved. So I don't think we want to wait till the work session and just start hassling all this stuff out. We need to think about it before we get there and then lay our ideas on the table. Now, with that said, Mr. Foreman made a motion to defer this until October's work session. Do I have a second?
I'll second that based on what you said, Commissioner.
A second by Mr. Sharp. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
I am going to vote no because I want to have a different motion made. Vote no.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
No.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
No.
Mr. Kokora?
No.
I'm going to make a motion to table this item as well for the following reasons. The PUD guidelines have not been met. Don Alphon's comments are not even close to being addressed. There's been no traffic study done. It's too dense. And the traffic flow needs to be addressed as well.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to table of Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Carnahan. Roll call, please.
Can you do a specific, table to a specific date?
Until such time that
It's got to be removed from the floor.
the plan commission feels that there is some negotiation to be
Well,
had.
I'm trying to understand from our perspective how it gets reset.
Well,
Is that staff's decision? I mean,
No, it's our decision.
well, how does it happen?
This is how it works. If, they make a motion to remove it from the table at a future meeting, and it gets a second and it passed, then it can be discussed again. Until then, it stays in limbo.
Just for the record,
Wait a minute,
I need to object to that.
I'm asking my attorney something. Am I correct?
About tabling, well, my view is that if you're gonna table, you have to give some direction to the applicant so that they have guidance on how to bring it back. And in my mind, that is for Mr. Oakes and I and Ashley and Mr. Kill to start working through their documents to a point where we can recommend to the planning commission that it's right to come back.
that is exactly what I'd like to see happen. And I would add Mr. Calderon's comments to my motion.
Roll call?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Kokora?
Yes. Motion carries.
Woo!